And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Consistency Conversation. Today on the show, we have my main man, Sandon. Sandon and I met a couple of years ago back at Crossfit, and we have done a couple of challenges together. We went out one day and decided to do 1,000 burpees in one day. So Sandon is probably my main workout partner. I work out by myself 99% of the time, but if I need a good push or something like that, Sandon is one of the guys that I do lean on to give me that good push and have a great workout. So Sandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, man, doing good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to finally have you on here, man. Like, man, you've been going around for a couple of years, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
What we want to know, like what, like my
All
fitness,
about your fitness. Where did you start your fitness journey? How did you start your fitness journey? Where are you at when it comes to fitness? You know, are you a 4 o'clock guy? Are you a 7 o'clock in the evening guy? Are you a Goggins guy? You know, are you a hot yoga guy? Like, you know, tell us a little bit about your fitness journey and where you are now with it.
Yeah. So it's funny. I'll start like I feel like this is like a therapy session. Yeah. You ever hear the Henry Rollins, the iron? There's like a whole. You know what Henry Rollins is, right?
Probably not. Maybe if I look him, I may know him by the face or something like that, or maybe some of the content.
I'm getting off topic already, but he was like a punk rock or hardcore or whatever it was. You know, back in like late '80s, early '90s, 2000s. Black Flag was a band, and then he was in a couple of movies. Now he's like one of those like spoken poetic kind of, I don't know what they call him. You know, he's like a poet speaker kind of thing.
Okay.
He has this like great like story about like pumping iron, and he tells a story about how he was in high school and he get picked on. He was a scoring little kid, and his gym teacher, you know, gave him the iron. And it's this whole like, it's a powerful, like, you know, it's like a 2-page thing he put together about how, like, you know, the iron, like, you know, it don't lie to you. It is what it is. It keeps it real. Like, it's just you and the iron. Like how he loves, like, you know, pumping iron. Like it's you and your mind, and that's it. And like the iron never lies. Like it tells you the truth. It's heavy. It's heavy. You gotta work past it. So anyway,
I like it.
But yeah, it's good. But yeah. So I throw that because like I started, you know, exercising like early, like I was like in junior high, same thing, kind of lifting weights, you know, like just in my room.
Yeah, like a teenager, so about 13.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've always like, even up until like recently, up until CrossFit probably, I always worked out by myself. It was always like a thing I did like alone. Like, I don't know, it was just like me, like in my head, doing my thing. And I preferred it that way. I got into like in high school, I got into kickboxing, you know, martial arts. And then, well, actually it was martial arts more like in high school. And then in like when I was 20 years old, I started doing kickboxing. And that's what really, like, I think got me like heavy into fitness. You know, I was always, like I said, working on my my house, my bedroom, wherever it was, lifting weights, my own thing. That's like the true, like, kind of set me off. And I probably get back to that, you know, later on, you know, why it was such a important part. But I mean, that was, you know, from that, you know, I got into that. That was like, it was important for a lot of reasons, but then from there I got into like the GoRuck kind of stuff. Like had me do like the rucking. And I got into that for a while. I did that for a number of years. You know, it was good. Like, you know, for me, it was all about the mental challenge. And that's what the kickboxing was. You know, it was a mental challenge and like just adrenaline rush. And the same with the rucking. You know, it was a mental thing. And even now, like, you know, I still, you know, work out every day. Like you said, we did the 1,000 burpees. You know, how many months ago? It's just the mental stuff, and you know that's I just love. I love the mental part of it. That's what it is to me.
Yeah.
You know?
So you train and work out mainly because of the mental part of it, and then you just benefit from the physical aspects of it. Yeah, like, I mean, now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely like. I mean, mentally, I feel like I have to work out every day. I don't know about you know, like I don't know what dust my mind. Like it sets me at ease. Like, you know, and I've read. Like people say some of the things that like us, like there was one, I kind of keep quoting people. There's one like Navy SEAL gave some speech about like, you know, you wake in the morning, you make your bed. That's the one that you control. Like it's after working out. You get up in the morning, you work out. This is no matter what happens, you go for a run. Like you did it. You can't control how the day's gonna go. You control. You get up in the morning, you go for your run, you get that in. Whether it's good or bad, or you want to maybe plan to run 5 miles. You only ran 4 because whatever. But you still got it in. And you did that. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah. When you were starting out and you were in middle school and you were lifting weights and stuff like that, did you like want to like be like big, like, Lou Ferrigno or, Lee Haney, Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody, I'm like, did you have goals of being like super muscular or anything like that? Or, were you the scrawny kid getting picked on and it's like, I'm starting lifting weights?
Yeah, that's what it was, honestly. Like, yeah, like, I didn't have a lot of friends, I got picked on and, started lifting weights. And then even like, so like in high school, I moved around a bunch. So it's a funny story. Like I moved around a bunch. And I came from like a tougher area neighborhood. Like I'm from New York, like Long Island, and where I live was a little tougher to where I moved. And it's like, just me, like I wasn't like I didn't start trouble, but I just had like an attitude about me, like just like, so like.
Were you like a jerk or like a douchebag or something?
No. I think just like my presence, like
it's just a chip. Well, you kind of tall. You're big. Like how tall are you? 6'3"?
6'2".
6'2"? Yeah.
I think it's just me. It's not even intentional. Like even like my kids say, like like I have the scared look on my face all the time. Like the scary look. I don't know. Like I think I just have a chip, and I went to like a new school, and just having that chip, like like within days, I was fighting people. Like I'm just here. I'm just like and then from there, that's why I started getting into like martial arts. And my cousin, he started training me. I did that for a couple of years. It was kind of like kickboxing stuff. Me and him work out in his garage, and that really got me into it.
I know, I've never taken martial arts, but I hear, great things about it, especially with the mental preparation. And I know you stretch, you flexible as I don't know what, and I remember one time you told me that came from that, but, did martial arts, when you got involved with that, you mentioned that you used to fight and stuff like that. So did it help with that, or did you continue to do the fighting and stuff, or how did martial arts affect your fighting or whatever?
You mean like bad fighting? You mean?
Yeah, the bad fighting. Yeah.
not training fighting.
Yeah, not the training. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. It helped me. I definitely just like be more confident and like not have to just settle my mind, I guess. I think that was a big part of it.
Do you still do martial arts now, or?
No, I occasionally. I haven't done it probably in a little while. I used to, even when I moved here to North Carolina, I would still like work out my my attic, my garage, and hit the bag and stuff like that. So, but I haven't in a while. Yeah.
What is your so when we met, we were both going to CrossFit together, and we were part of the 5 a.m. crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did you end up in CrossFit? You went, at one point you talked about, being a scrawny kid, then lifting the weights, and then in martial arts. And then when we met, a few years ago, you were into, CrossFit, which is totally different. So how did you end up in a CrossFit space?
So I'll tell you how I got there. I think what I loved about it. I mean, I got there because I was looking for something different. I was looking for a change. I was kind of bored with what I was doing. But what I loved about it is, so starting with kickboxing, like if you haven't, I was like a real fight in high school, like just fight, But like aside from that, if you haven't actually, but like, professional fighting, I guess, training fighting, getting in the ring. If you haven't done it, like, it's just. Nothing compares to it, like in your mind, like the adrenaline rush that you go through, and that like it's like ultimate, like, and like in your head you have like those moments where you question, like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, the Goggins stuff, like you're like, holy shit, like, like I remember one fight, and I might have told you this already, where I think it was like my second or third fight, and like I got like knocked down in the first round, and it's only a 10 count, when you're fighting, and I remember like those, and really you're on the ground for like 7 seconds. By the time you get knocked down, you stand back up, and the ref's counting. Those 7 seconds felt like 5 years. Like I was down there, and like my whole, like in my mind's like contemplating, like like Goggins said, like how he talks about it, like you question, like, why am I here? Like I remember on the floor, and it felt like hours. So I'm telling myself, like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is crazy. And I remember even convincing myself, like, I'm not gonna quit. But technically, like, he knocked me down. So if I don't get back up, I didn't really quit. I just couldn't get back. I'm trying to rationalize, like, in my head, like, why am I not gonna get up? Because I don't want to continue.
In
And it
those
was like,
7 seconds.
in 7 seconds, like, it's a whole, like,
Dang.
like this whole, like
a
in my
conversation.
head. Yeah, my conversation in my head, exactly. Like I'm running through my head, oh, this scenario, why I need to stay down, why I shouldn't get back up, and like, what am I doing? Like, and of course, I snapped at it and I got back up, and then I fought 2 more rounds. I knocked the guy down in the second round. I almost almost knocked him out the second round. I came back like, to fire, and that was like, whew, like that was like that probably that pivotal, like, flight or fight moment in my life, where like, holy shit, I'm gonna keep referencing Goggins all the time.
Do it.
Yeah, like like the 40% rule. Like you have so much more in you. Like you just gotta believe in yourself to do it. And so anyway, but I went through a phase of fighting, and I got older, and I was like, I'm getting old. I can't be fighting forever, getting smacked in the head,
Yeah.
But it was that adrenaline rush, and after that is when I found the GoRuck stuff, and that was the same kind of like mental challenge of like just pushing your limits, to the extreme. So I did that for a number of years. I have some good stories about that too. And then I got into do my own thing, working in my garage. And then one of my neighbors actually at the time was like, oh, CrossFit, where we're going, come check it out. And it was like a Groupon. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And I just started going. Then I loved the group, you're challenging yourself, you're challenging each other. It's the competition, that push, that drive, or the same kind of thing. That's what I loved about it when I got into it.
Yeah. So like when I got into CrossFit, I started back in initially, I think 2008. I was in Iraq, and I had a buddy, and we used to do CrossFit. We used to come up with different workouts. We go to the website, and he'd be like, "Oh, let's do this." We would add to, take away, to kind of, based off what we could or couldn't do and what we had access to as far as the equipment, So that's how I started, and then we just ended up.
And what was your draw to it? What did you like about it then?
I think because
just the exercise. Like what? So what do you love? What do you love about exercise? Like what's your draw? What excites you? Like what is it?
For me, it's the after effects. It's what happens in the feeling after the workout. You know what I mean? And when you see all your hard work and your goals come to light. When you work out for X amount of time, and then your running time goes down. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or you see all of the fruits of your labor, like your bench press goes up, your squat goes up, all of these different things. And kind of sort of what drew me to the CrossFit was a change of pace too. Being in the military, I always worked out with people, but I've also enjoyed working out by myself. And now I actually prefer to work out by myself, and then sprinkle in workouts with like you, and organize other workouts and stuff like this. But initially, I mean, for the most part, I like working out by myself. But I think CrossFit, it was the it came down, a lot of it came down to the ease of it. You know what I mean? Because all I have to do is just come in and show up. You know what I mean? I don't got to think about it. That part of it. The other part of that, which I didn't like about it, was I didn't always know what I was going to do. It's like, okay, so if I want to work on chest, well, we may only do chest once or twice a whole month. So, not being able to really schedule my workouts and work on, certain body parts that I may have wanted to, work on more, was the only reason why, was the main reason why I stopped going to CrossFit. But I think for the most part, I think CrossFit has a lot of great things to offer. But I also understand this, and me and you, we've talked about this too, is we hear a lot of stories about CrossFit, the bad, that we hear the horror stories, the trainers and stuff like this. So I'll start with you, and kind of give me your thoughts on some of those horror stories that you may have experienced or that you may have heard about when it comes to CrossFit.
Yeah, I mean, I think people do dumb shit in CrossFit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I mean, it's weird in some ways. Like, I'll say like Olympic weightlifting, like, you know, some of the movements that you involve, like the snatch or clean and jerk. I mean, there's tons of movements that you do that are complex movements, right? Like even like pull-ups, like, you know, pull-ups in itself. Like I mean, I just do strict pull-ups now. I don't even do.
Yeah.
But, you know, they had like kipping pull-ups and like,
Yeah.
you know, like butterfly and muscle-ups and rings, all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of stuff, which is fine, dude, when you get to that level. But I think the problem is, like, you have a whole sport, like Olympic weightlifting. You have a whole
Mm-hmm.
sport. Olympic sport, the only thing you only do two movements. That whole sport, you know, two exercises. It's snatch and clean and jerk. That's a whole sport around that activity, and they spend, you know, decades, an athlete perfecting that movement. But you go to
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit, like your first, you know, month there, you're doing snatches and do clean jerks, and I feel like you're doing stuff you have no business doing.
Mm.
And, you know, and they modify it, and that's, you know, I mean, that's, you know, they try and get you at your own pace, but I think part of the environment, like, you push yourself way past the points you shouldn't be even go, like, because you're in that environment and you have your buddy next to you doing whatever, doing some heavy weight or doing some crazy movement. Like, I want to do that. Like, that's, you know, I want to be who he is, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't help but push yourself. And it's a weird. I mean, it's good and bad. I think, you know, and the motivating part of it, where you know, you're trying to keep up, and that'll push you to, like, you know, if you're going for a run, right, you're doing sprints that are relatively, you know, straightforward activities. You're doing burpees, doing push-ups, whatever it is. But you do some crazy, like, you know, ring muscle ups, and like trying to get there, you tear your arm out of the socket.
Yeah.
Now what? You know, but it's like stuff like that. Like, I feel like they progress you way too fast. That's my opinion. But
yeah, I can somewhat agree with that, and I also agree. I also think that some of that comes with the competitive nature.
It's the ego.
That you can get into when you're there, because, you know, I used to, you know, whether or not I told you, I would compete with you and other people in CrossFit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when we have, you know, we doing burpees and we doing strict pull-ups and stuff like this. Like, I was trying to do more than people,
of course,
you know, and I knew there were certain areas that I was stronger in than others. But, you know, it's funny how you talked about, you know, getting on ring muscle ups and turn your shoulder. Well, that's actually what happened. I didn't tear my shoulder, but I actually hurt my shoulder, you know, at CrossFit. I was doing ring muscle ups. I just learned how to do ring muscle ups. It wasn't, at least that situation, I don't feel like it had anything to do with the trainers or anything. That was all on me, because I shouldn't have been up there doing ring muscle ups. You know what I mean? I never did them before.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's why, like, you know, like, I don't know.
But my ego got involved.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think your ego, right? Like, so I hurt my knee at CrossFit doing like power cleans, right? And yeah, it's my, like, looking back now, like, yeah, I was going way too heavy. Duh,
Yeah.
You know, but it's combination. Like, maybe the trainer should say, hey, your form's slipping, stop. Like, I know you want to go heavy, it's fun, but I mean, both. I gotta take ownership, responsibility. It's my body. If I break it, I gotta deal with it. But I think it's a combination of, you know, the atmosphere, the ego, yourself. Like, I mean, that's part of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird dynamic overall. I mean, that's what also, it's what makes it great, but I think it's also part of the flaws of it in itself.
Yeah, and I can see it being totally a combination or a mixture of all of those different things, and probably some more things. You know what I mean? Just, you know, being able to train effectively on the squat or the jerk, and, you know, those different movements, because that was the first time I did some of those movements for, like, my entire life. Like, I never did some of those movements before.
I had never, like, I used to work out in my garage, like I said, as a kid, but I had like a bench. I do bench press. I never, like, I didn't do legs. Like, you know, I worked out in my garage. I didn't have a squat rack. I had a bench, like a bench. That was it. So I didn't have a squat rack. I was doing squats. Like, I was like lunges like that. But like, the first time I ever squatted or deadlifted in my life was at CrossFit a couple of years ago. So it was the same. It was all new to me.
Yeah. I hadn't did too much front squats before, you know, a lot of the, you know, ass to grass squats. I hadn't did a lot of those before. It did kind of make me a little bit more flexible with certain movements, especially with the front rack. Like, I couldn't hardly, my flexibility was really bad, and it still is now. I totally need to do a whole lot more stretching. I just don't. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is, man. So are you still doing CrossFit, or?
I still do, but what's funny now is I go back and I do what I think makes sense for me. Like, you know, like, Like I don't do I do strict pull-ups for everything. I don't do kipping. Like, you know, they
Kipping.
have like when they say pull-ups, I think like in a workout, I think the expectation is you're doing kipping or
Yeah.
butterfly or whatever you're capable of. But no matter what it says, or sometimes I like chest bar pull-ups, like no matter what it says, I just do strict. I feel
Yeah.
like, first of all, I'm a hell of a lot stronger now doing strict pull-ups than I was back doing kipping, where I feel like you're throwing your body around.
Yeah.
And even that, like when you're trying to do like bang out sets of like kipping, that's when you hurt yourself, because the whole motion, like I feel like I wasn't strong enough. Like maybe now I could probably do it because I built up the strength. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. I jumped into it because I wanted to like do more, and like
Yeah.
that's a sport, right? The sport is to do as much as you can, as fast as
Yeah.
you can. But I'd rather be functional and like just have strength. And like I don't know if I told you, my PR, a couple months ago, my PR of 20 strict pull-ups in a row, which was like, I was kidding me.
You
Like,
did that?
yeah, like 2 years
That's
ago, I
what's up.
couldn't. Yeah, man.
You're almost up there with me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
What do you
playing.
got? 30? What do you got? 30?
No, I'm probably around. I'm probably right around there.
What?
You know what I mean? Right
Around where?
around 20.
No, you're not. You got more than 20.
No,
You're full
man.
of shit.
Straight.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm probably plus or minus 2.
Really?
Yeah.
You make it look easy though.
But I don't do large sets of pull-ups at one
Yeah.
time. So like if I do them, I'm usually doing sets of either 5, 8, or 10.
Yeah.
So I don't, do big sets. So like I don't do 20 at a time. You know what I mean? Usually, like I said, 5, 10, or 8 is usually my max, and I do rounds and rounds of that. And that's why. But I mean, the first 10 I'm gonna give you, like they're gonna be straight. They're gonna look good, And then just like anything else, your form. If you don't, like for me, I'd rather like now. I'm a lot more form oriented now. Like a lot more things are form. Like even when I do burpees, I do 6 count burpees. I don't just flop on the ground and then flop back up, like a fish. Like I don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Even with push-ups, they're very strict, down, up, pull-ups, all the way up and down. And like, I go until I feel like, until my form is going to break down, and then I'll stop.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my cutoff point now, is when my form about to stop. I may do 1 or 2 more, but I'm conscious of where that number is. And so next time, or the goal is to get past that number. You know what I mean? So like I can get like you, so I can do 20 straight pull-ups and my form be straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember them kipping pull-ups, and I kind of learned how to do it. A lot of it was momentum and different things like that. And, I would see people go up there, even women go up there and knock out 20 pull-ups. And I'm like, you do 20 pull-ups? I'm like, like I see the numbers, and I'm like, how y'all do 20? Or even still, I was still able to do, I think at that time, I was able to do more strict than some people were able to do kipping. But I've always done pull-ups. I've started doing pull-ups in middle and high school. And I did them in the military. I mean, my shoulders are all busted up and stuff, but you know what I mean? I still do them. It only hurt for the few seconds while I'm doing it. And after, and the next day, and but.
Well, it was funny. That was like, pull-ups always like my kryptonite. Like I sucked at pull-ups. I was a kid, like in high school, I could do like 1 pull-up and I like struggle, I'd be kicking my legs, like trying to get 1.
Yeah.
But even like when I started CrossFit, like even doing kipping, I couldn't do a lot. I was horrible. And I bought a bar, like, COVID was like 2 years ago when everything kind of shut down. I bought a bar and put it in my garage. I was doing pull-ups every day. And I did, what was it? There was a method, I forget what it was called. I don't know, but I would do like whatever it was, like 5 every hour. Like working from home. So every hour I go on stand and do 5 all day long. And the day it's like, it's 40 pull-ups. That's how I started. And from there, I just up it. And then after a week or 2, I do 6. And actually the first couple of weeks I was sore as hell. Like you don't sit with a lot when you go from doing nothing to doing that many, every hour. But even like, the hours fly by. I'm at my desk, like, oh shit, it's top of the hour. We're downstairs, get 5 pull-ups in, come back to my desk. And before I knew, I was doing like 6, 7 every hour, and like it was crazy. That's when that's my pull-up game.
Yeah, man, you do a lot of pull-ups, and you do me and you've done a few workouts together. We've done pull-up work. We've done them at your house. We've done them at my house. We've done them at the park. One of the big ones I want to talk about, and I don't even remember how it came about. How did we end up doing, those 1,000 burpees.
1,000
You know
burpees.
what I mean? Like, how did it start, man?
I think we talked about doing like 5. Like, five doesn't seem that impressive. Let's go
Yeah.
straight to 1,000.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many burpees had you like
I
at
think
one sitting? How many burpees had you done at like one sitting before then?
I think most of it maybe was like maybe 400.
Mm.
I think it was more like close to 300. Honestly, I don't think I even gotten that high because even at the time I was like, 5 would be a pretty good number. So I've only done like 300.
Yeah, it was definitely 3 because we did 300 at your house in the garage one day. That was my max until the 1,000.
There's probably about 300 or 400 around there.
Man,
no more than 400. I know that.
Yeah, I think we got to the first 400 pretty quick.
We banged it out.
Yeah, and then after that,
and it was all downhill.
Yeah, it hurt after that. It sucked. It was a lot. That's honestly something that I would honestly, I think I'd do that again.
Yeah, man.
Like, I think I'd do it again.
And we were doing strict burpees too. We weren't
strict burpees.
Like strict, like military, like no.
Yep.
Yeah, like
6 count.
Push-up. 6 count. Yeah, we doing 6 count burpees. We doing
and it was rough. Like I enjoyed it. I felt, and so like you asked me, earlier about why I work out, and that's part of the reason why. It's like, man, that feeling of, I mean, a lot of people have never done 1,000 burpees at one time, much less, so it's like, I'm always chasing that. I'm always chasing that feeling of how good I feel after I work out. It's almost like, I feel like I can pretty much guarantee there's probably a certain amount, a large amount of dopamine that's being released, when I have that accomplishment. And I think that's part of what my body probably craves that on a regular basis now. I think I'm at that point.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I was proud of that, man. Like afterwards, I felt it was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It freaking sucked though.
Yeah,
also, so here's another thing that we both have done. Not together yet. But the Goggins, the 4x4x48. Yeah. So how'd you get into that? Like I've done it. I did it last year, and I know you did it. What? How many times have you done it? 2 years ago.
Once. 2 years ago.
Oh, just once.
Yeah.
Tell us about those experiences.
I saw it on like he does it in March, right? I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I think
so. That's when he does it.
Yeah, I think so.
So I saw it on Instagram like in March, like when he passed up. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. I wish I'd known. I would have done it that weekend. And then I just decided, why not Memorial Day weekend? So I did Memorial Day weekend, and it was that one was intense, man. Like mental. It was all mental. Well, I mean, it was physical. It was physical, but it was, obviously. So I mean, so we started out. There was like 7 of us doing it, and we go obviously every 4 hours. So every 4 hours, we're on 4 miles for 48 hours, or a total of 48 miles. And I remember I started out, and like the hard part is like I assumed I was gonna run the entire thing. Like I was in pretty good shape like 2 years ago. I was running a lot. I was like hitting the rowing machine a lot. I was a lot of endurance kind of stuff I was doing. So I assumed I'd run the entire thing. So like I got to the first 3 legs running. I think it's like by like the 4th leg. So whatever that is, like we started 4 in the afternoon. So whatever, 4, 8, 12, so maybe 4 in the morning, I guess. Like I got there and I'm like, I can't run. Like I can't run these 4 miles. And the thing is like, why not walk? That's sure, you're still doing it. But in my head, like the plan was to run the entire thing. Like the idea of walking never occurred to me as even an option. Like I figured if I was walking, I failed it already. And I mean, I got there and I was already breaking it, like 4 in the morning, like the 4th leg. And I was already having I was like freaking out. I'm like, what am I do? I got there and they're like, dude, just walk. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I gotta do that.
Yeah.
And so I did that and I walked and it was fine, So then I did like a walk run that next leg. I like ran a mile, I walked a mile, ran a mile, walked a mile, back and forth. And it was just the experience. I remember the first, you're hyped up, it's doing it, you're taking part of it. It's a huge thing, right? The adrenaline rush, get starting it up. But then I remember it takes us about 50 minutes, so you get up there, you run the 4 miles. By the time you get there and leave, come back, hop my car, run home. I jump in the shower, I dive into bed, I'd pass out, set my alarm, get up, and then do the next leg. And I feel like it was that for 2 days straight, right? I'm sure I don't know if you felt the same. Like that's what it was like. It felt like it was just was a big blur. But I remember, and one last thing, and I'll let you get your version of it. How you felt. I remember like it was like the second to the last, like it was another like 4 a.m. one. I think we went until 12, or like on a Sunday. We started
something like that.
So we started at 4 on Friday, so we finished at 12 on Sunday. So I remember it was like 4 a.m. And where we went, it was like right down the road from my house. So I got in my car, and I'm actually that leg before I even started. I remember like waking up and literally like almost crying in bed. Like I was like delirious. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, just like I was like mentally, I was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I was freaking out. I'm like, I don't know why. But I got out of bed. I drove, ran the 4 miles. Coming home, I got in my car, and I completely like blacked out. Like I had no idea where I was. Like I was like and I was freaking out in my car. I'm like, where am I? I'm like, how long I've been driving for? I have no idea where I am. I'm like, should I pull over? Like, should I call my wife and she can come and get me? Because I don't know where I mean. I thought I've been driving for hours.
Yeah.
And I say I blacked out. Like I didn't go to sleep, but like in my mind, like it's like I blinked and I was like, I didn't know where I was. And I looked to my left, and like there was like this like kind of mail house, old like post office on the road, which is like a quarter mile from where we parked. So really I drove a quarter mile, and in that quarter mile, my mind just like I was gone. And I was like, I knew where I was, and my house is like, 2 miles down the road from there. So I just kept driving, got to my house, but it was crazy. But anyway, when I finished it, like you said, the most amazing adrenaline rush, like holy shit. I despite like, on leg 4 where I was freaking out because I couldn't run and I had to do, and like almost crying in my bed, and like, at one point, like blacking out, like I did it, man. Like I felt it was awesome. Like how many people can say that, it was great. So,
I got mad. I got mad.
What's
I
that?
got mad because I got
got
hurt. Yeah, I got hurt like after the first 2. Yeah, like I hurt my hip and so a couple other things and stuff, and I was just like, man, I hurt my knee. So, because I decided to like start off with like I think a ruck and then like some ankle weights. And
ankle weights. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was dumb. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was real dumb.
You say crazy, it's dumb. It's dumb.
That was dumb. Like I accept it. It is what it is. And then like by the time I got to the 3rd leg, I was just like mentally, I was just frustrated. And then after that, I was mentally frustrated the whole time. And then I was trying to record videos at the same time. And it was one more thing. Oh, I had like anxiety. My anxiety was like spiked. Yeah. And it was because the fear of not being able to finish the challenge. And a lot of it had to do with worried about, was I going to fall asleep? Well, like falling asleep, but just waking up.
Not waking
like sleeping,
up.
Yeah, sleeping through the alarm. Like I'm be like, oh man, like I've been so mad. Like if I slept through my alarm, you know what I mean? Because like you said, you get back in 45 minutes or an hour. After all mine took about an hour, because after that I was mostly walking. So there's your hour. Then you got 3 more hours before you got to start beating the pavement again. And you got to eat. You got to hydrate. You got to get a nap if you can. All of those things. And then it's probably because you got families and we got families. Somebody's going to probably want some attention. You know what I mean? So all of that stuff that went on, but anxiety.
It was stressful.
It was stressful.
I remember, like you said, like in my head, there's like the mindset of like, it was like a frantic pace. Like after I run, I'd race home, jump in the shower, grab food, dive into bed, have my clothes laid out. So when I woke up, I could just throw them back on. Like I was home, but it was that for 2 days straight. Like it was like just on top of the stress of actually running every, the 4 miles.
How early did you get up before you ran? Like
I think like
half hour.
At least a half hour, because I had I got dressed or whatever, and then had to get down there. I drove there like to be there like 5 minutes before the starting point. We all met up at a certain spot. We'd go, and it was close to my house. I had to drive far, but still, I wanted to make sure I was there in time. Like one of the guys actually overslept. He did what he said. He overslept.
See?
So, but then he missed it. Like, fuck, dude, he missed it. But what he did was he ended up running 8 miles on the next leg. I'm like, that
ain't the same thing though.
Yeah.
It ain't the same thing. He got to do it again. It don't count. It does not count. 4 miles every 4 hours.
That's the challenge.
Not 8 hours at once.
That's the standard.
Exactly. That's the
Yep.
standard. He didn't meet the standard. He got to do it
Yep.
again. Call him up, tell him he can do it with us this year. You see how I just told you he was going to do it this year, right?
Yeah. You slipped
I
that in.
think I know. I feel like I'm gonna do it this year. I got it on my calendar to do, and I'll probably do it. More than likely, I said that I wasn't going to do it again because I already did it before.
Yeah, but that's what So it's funny. My first GoRuck challenge. I'll talk about that, right?
Yeah.
So I think some people, I guess people are familiar with that. Like, you carry around, rucksack, and it's kind of like a military style led thing. And there's like a class of 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I did was in 2011. They had just started. Like now it's been around for 10 plus years. I don't know how many thousands of classes they had, but
yeah,
they but basically they start you out like a welcome party. They beat you up like an hour, do like a bunch of PT, and then you start you're running with your gear, and you have your ruck, and you have like a time hack. You have to get from here to here, and you have to go like half a mile in like an hour, which don't seem bad, but you carry a bunch of 5-gallon jugs of water and a litter and whatever. And if you don't make it wherever in like an hour, then they start killing people off. So now they kill you off, and so now Garfield, now you're a casualty. Now I gotta down the next spot.
Carry me.
I gotta carry you and your ruck.
Yeah.
To the next spot instead, and it keeps getting more hectic, and that's they throw more shit in. So, but the first one I did, I wasn't prepared for it. They got me in the water. It was in New York City. They got us in the Hudson River in the first
cold.
Not even the cold. It was
okay.
September. It wasn't horrible. Just the fact that I wore had regular cotton socks. My feet were trashed. They was soaking wet in the first half hour. That was it. That was just, wet, soggy feet the rest of the night. But it was, I ended up stretch fractures on my toes. But I remember it was done. I'm like, that fucking sucked. I'm like in my head, I was like, that was hard.
Yeah.
I hate it, but it was fucking stupid. I'll never do that again. What was the point? And then after a while, I was like, it was fucking hard. But it was mentally, I'm like, I started growing me after a year later. I'm like, all right, I'm doing another one. That's it. I'm signing up.
The feeling of accomplishment.
That's what it was. The feeling of accomplishment. At first, it was like, I did it once. Why do I want to do it again? But the feeling of accomplishment, it set in. Holy shit! It was fucking tough, but I did it.
Yeah.
But there was one. So I have Crohn's disease, and it comes and goes. And I'm more medicine now. I'm actually pretty good now. I've been good for a couple of years now. But a few years ago, before I was in the new medicine, I was fucked up for a while, and it would come and go, and got pretty bad. But I signed up for, there was a Halloween challenge in Raleigh. This is I don't know, 6 years ago or something. And I signed up, and I canceled the day before, because they used to let you just move your time slots to different times. So I canceled, and then the day of, I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna cancel. I'm gonna do it. I felt like I was bitching out. I'm like, I'm fine, I'll do it. But I wasn't fine. But anyway, but that night was cold as shit. We started with 13 people. 6 people quit throughout the night, so only 7 of us finished. But the last 2 hours, and it was a hard class. Some are harder than others. Really, it's up to the guy leading how hard he wants to make it. He can.
Yeah.
If he wants to make you quit in an hour, he can make you quit in an hour. It's up to them. You're in the military. I'm gonna tell you, if they want to beat you down, they can beat you down.
Yeah.
But I swear, this class was I was sick, number one, but it was one of the harder classes. The last 2 hours, I was messed up. I was seeing stars.
Dang.
I was bad. I was out of it. But in my head, the idea of quitting never even occurred to me.
Never occurred, yeah.
I was at that point where I'd gone through, the kickboxing, that kind of those 7 seconds where I was talking myself out of it, or I've been through a few GoRucks before, and I was at this point where literally it never even occurred to me, and it got to the point where I was effed up.
Yeah.
I was talking to myself. I was babbling. I was even I heard myself just mumbling, and people were like, "You're right." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'd be fucking just mumbling random shit to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing got the tunnel vision. I started seeing the stars, started closing up, and I just fell to the fucking ground. I was
passed out.
I passed out. Yeah.
Dang.
I was carrying a litter, and I fucking felt like a sack of shit. And I got back up, and we were almost done actually at that point. So someone grabbed my ruck. We had maybe another half mile to go. So I finished, And it's funny, I had like someone after tell me like, if you get to that point, like you actually passed out, like, I know, you're proud and it's like, a badge of honor, but that's your body telling you like, you need to get to, like, there's something wrong. And
Yeah.
while I agree, I'm like, fuck that, man. I did that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, was it worth it? It was some stupid challenge, but like in my head, like quitting was not even an option. It never even occurred to me. Like I passed out and I got back up. So I'm going. I didn't fuck. I was like, I was not going to quit. Like
you didn't die.
I didn't die. You passed out before you die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the shit I love. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I see people who think that they're working out, but they're really not. And I'm not saying you have to work out until you pass out, but I do see that there are a lot of people who are not working out as hard as they think they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people don't see all of their results. You know what I mean? Yeah. Speaking about GoRuck, we did one last year. We did a 26.2 in Charlotte. That was fun, not fun. Yeah. That was different. That was, that was a totally different experience than, all the other works that I've ever done in the past. Yeah. It was the longest, but I don't know. I'm trying to compare it to some of the other ones. Remember the ground got hot. You know what I mean? The street got hot.
It was fucking hot.
Yeah.
I remember, but it would start off the morning. It was kind of like, I think, it wasn't rainy, but it was kind of overcast.
Yeah, overcast, low clouds.
End of the day, I remember like I was overheating. That I was hot at the end of the day. I remember that. I remember
it was hot. And then man, there was a long day because we drove down there.
We drove like midnight. Oh, you drove actually.
Yeah, I drove.
Not we. You drove.
Yeah, I drove, and then we did the 26 ruck, and then we drove back. Then I drove back too. Man, yeah, that was a long freaking day. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna do another one of those. I don't know if I'm gonna do another GoRuck. Like the 26 miler, I don't know if I'm gonna do that one again.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that again. I might do other ones or different stuff. I guess it depends, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. It was, it was an experience, but
yeah. And no shade. I just kind of, maybe no shade on the GoRuck, but kind of like, kind of feel like, man, you could kind of put that together and go out there and and get paid. So maybe I got some personal biases or something against it, or maybe their business practice, business model. But I mean, it is what it is, and it works. So I can't knock it at the end of the day. Yeah. You said, and we don't have to talk about it in too much detail if you don't want to. But I remember you mentioned it. You said you're with your Crohn's disease. So I don't know a whole lot about it. I know we have had some conversations about it. And one of the conversations, well, I ain't even going to say that. But how do you, how is it struggling or not struggling, managing, whenever I talk to someone and they have some sort of sickness or illness or disease or something, I like to, and they consistently work out, I do like to, highlight those things because, there are a lot of people out here who have things, but at the same time, they will talk about or mention how their disability or disease is preventing them from, being at a certain level, being at a certain point physically fit or something like that. So how have you been able to manage your Crohn's with being able to work out all the time and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there have been times where, physically I just can't. Like, I'm run down. So Crohn's is a like autoimmune disease, and basically like the way I'll describe it is that your body is attacking itself, like your stomach, your intestines. I think it sees like food as like a I don't know what's called, but like a foreign substance, I guess. And basically your stomach attacks itself, and it causes inflammation and all kinds of stuff, like inflammation, bleeding, like ulcers, pain. And as a result, like for me, when I was really sick, like I had pictures of myself when I was like in New York. I was really bad when I was still in New York. Like I lost like 30 pounds in like a couple of months. I looked like a crackhead. Like I was dying. I looked, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't eating. I was like bleeding. I was anemic. So yeah, I was a mess. But it's funny. I like through Instagram, I met this guy. I don't know if I told you this story. That Brandon, I forget his last name, but he's the current Guinness Book World Record holder for pull-ups
Okay.
in 24 hours. And I forget the number. It might be like 8,000, like 8,600 or something like that. Pull-ups in 24 hours, strict
Dang.
pull-ups, right? And now he's going for the world record of most muscle-ups, strict muscle-ups in 24 hours. That's a new goal he's working on. But the guy is he was, I think he was a former Ranger, right? And and I found this out. I actually found him when I started getting into pull-ups like 2 years ago. So I just found him randomly. I was looking at pull-ups and videos. Like, oh shit, I looked at him on Instagram, and I messaged him on Instagram. Like, yo, what's up? Like training ideas, and he sent me a bunch of stuff. Like, just do, whatever. And so doing more research about him and talking to him, I found out that he was a former Ranger. He got I think he was medically discharged because he had Crohn's disease also. And what's interesting about that is, like, I never, like, I don't really talk about it in the sense of, like, I don't have to give a pity party to tell people, like, oh, I can't work out, I can't do this because of that, because my Crohn's, it's, and, but I'll say, like,
it is something that you do have to deal with.
You do have,
because,
you do have to deal with it. And I remember there was a point where, like, I was so sick that, like, I thought I was dying. Like, like, literally, like, it sounds crazy now, but like, I didn't tell anybody because I was like, no, I'm just dying. Like, it was that point when I was in New York when I lost all that weight. Like, in my head, like, I was probably like in a depression, honestly, looking back now. Like, but it's funny. I told that to this guy. Like, I was telling about, like, I have my Crohn's and he has it too, whatever. He went through and he said he thought the same thing. Like, when he left the military, like, he didn't know it was cancer, but he thought he was dying too. He felt like it was that bad. Like, he just figured he was, whatever. But the point is, like, me, like, you need medicines, you need things to control it. You do the best you can. You work out through it. But despite that, like, all the stuff I've done since then, like, him after that, after leaving the military is when he, with Crohn's disease, and he's still like him. Like, he gets infusions. Like, I go every 6 weeks. I get like a 2-hour infusion of my medicine. He does the same thing. He's still got the Guinness Book World Record for pull-ups. Yeah. So, like, at the end, it's like, you have things, and it might limit him more than someone else, but does it really? Like, look what he did. Like, in the sense of, like, the stuff we've done. Like, we've done together too. Like you said, like, the Goggins challenge, the 4x48, the 1,000 burpees, the whatever else. Despite everything else, and it's no joke, man. Like, when I say I thought I was dying, I felt like I was dying. Like, in a point in my life, it was that bad, like the sickness. So, just, I don't know.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And because I know a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, do have certain illnesses and diseases, especially being, from the military community and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I speak to, disabled vets, on a weekly basis. And I do hear some of the struggles when it comes to working out and some of the limitations and stuff. And I have some of those too. But I'm a guy who, pushed through the pain, good, bad, or indifferent, and I know it was bad, but it's part of the reason why I ended up with back surgery at such an early age because and and it talks, and it goes into the whole CrossFit thing too. Is getting hurt because you keep trying to push and ego and different things like that. So I couldn't imagine like having something. Well, I can't imagine because I know exactly what it's like. Not from a Crohn's disease, but not being able to work out. Because I remember like when I had back surgery, I was down for like 10 weeks. You know what I mean? Before I could even start like running and stuff again. And it was just like, oh man, it's like you want to get out there and you want to do something, but you just can't. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it kind of is what it is. One of the things that we keep tiptoeing around, or at least keep bringing up, but we haven't like went in on it is Goggins. I know that is there's somebody that we both listen to, for motivation. I'm gonna use that word. I ain't big on motivation. In a sense that, I think his motivation is good, but motivation don't really get people their desired outcomes, the dedication of hard work and everything else like that. So, but, there's somebody that we listen to on a consistent basis. We both read the book and we both have, drawn some sort of inspiration from him. So, what is, how, and we even do, we still, send each other, Goggins videos and stuff like that from time to time, man. So what are some of your thoughts on Goggins, especially when it comes to how people view fitness overall? Because he has mainly about his approach. Because I know, like, for him, a lot of people, I really like his approach, but a lot of people don't like it. So what are some of your thoughts about, just David Goggins, his approach, and how effective or ineffective that it may be?
I mean, to me, his approach is just fucking do it, right? Like we're all dealing with shit, we all, and that's what I like about him most. That I feel like, I can associate so much of what he says of like my own experiences. Like it's just someone who's saying it, like if it's you that was saying it, like, yeah, like fucking, hey, like, but it's out there, and you can, there's so much, even like the cookie jar thing, he talks about, like, going to cookie jar, the things you've been through in your life. And, I've been, whether it's hard times you overcome or just accomplishments that you've overcome, like, shit, man, I fucking did that. Like, just, this ain't nothing.
Yeah.
But, been there, done that, or just being the idea of just being, being ready for life. Like you train every day, you train for life, man. It's not just about the fitness, it's your mind. That's the biggest part of it too. Like I said, like the challenges, like I feel like I'm training my mind, not just my body. It's the whole thing. But I mean, yeah, he's raw in the sense that, like, just, and I think he's also a perfect example of, him, the 300-pound dude who's, his horrible life, and
lost the weight.
So what?
Yeah.
He did it. How bad do you want it? You can make excuses, and you can fucking sit in your own shit, or you can do something about it.
Yeah.
That's it, And it's funny, like my wife gets annoyed at me sometimes. Well, gets annoyed at me, but like, I'll say things, or like just in general about to the kids, or or not in a bad way. I'm like, like, figure it out. Like, how do you think I did it? And she's like, well, not everyone like you, not everyone like. But and for me, it's almost like I'm kind of callous, where I'm like, why can't you just figure out? Why can't you just dig in? Why can't you just give it 120% until you get it right? If that's like my approach on a lot of things. And I guess not everyone's like that, but I'm like, I don't know why. Like, you all have it in you. You just gotta commit to it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the challenges in life, is that when you do get to a certain point in your maturity or your mindset about certain things, and other people don't get it, it's like, not necessarily there's pushback, but there's a disconnect, because now maybe, when I didn't work out as much, I probably thought like you did, but now that, I've worked out consistently, I've seen the results, all these different things. Now I'm kind of like, you know what, maybe working out ain't that bad. You know what I mean? Maybe being consistent and doing all the things and having that mindset is actually a good thing. You know what I mean? So, you did read the book, right?
I'm like 3/4 of the way through it. Yeah, I'm reading it right now. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
I did it on audiobook.
Okay.
Yeah. It was easier for me because I was getting up in the morning and I was just throwing it on, and I was going walking or running and different things like that. Nice. One of the other events I think you did, I know we at least talked about it, was Murph. Have you done Murph?
I don't think I have done it, actually.
You haven't?
I've done like the workout, but I've never actually done it on Memorial Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
You gonna do it this year? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I don't know. Only because I'm debating like doing that, or like the 60-mile ruck again this year.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All because like other things might come up.
Yeah.
I might trump it. That's why.
Yeah. I can see that. I don't know exactly because I did Murph last year, and that was the second time I've done it. So
okay.
But it ain't really anything else going on. Any like events or something. It's a pretty big event, so I may do it again just to see if I can beat my time.
Do the Ruck to Remember with me.
I may. Is that the one you sent the email about? I mean, the group text about?
I don't remember.
Or was it a different one?
I don't remember. The 60-mile one in Arlington.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, so this is a different one. I think somebody sent one in the group chat about another one. So I don't know. 60-mile ruck is a lot, but it's over 2 days though, right?
2 days. But that's one of those, like, this fucking hurts, I don't want to be here anymore moments also. Like it's a lot. You said 60 miles in 2 days is a lot with all your gear. I mean, you're not carrying, it's like 30, 35 pounds. It's enough, but it still gets those moments where you're in agony at the end. Like every step hurts. And it's more like weekend. You end in Arlington. It's just also a powerful, like, emotional, meaningful, event too. Besides that. So
Well, here let's get back to rucking a little bit then.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we did the 26. You've rucked, and me being in the military, I've rucked too.
yeah.
And I know one of the biggest things that I was taught was taking care of your feet.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how do you take care or prepare your feet just for rucking in general? I know last time they kind of got busted up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Or was it just something that it just happens?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge for me is it sounds funny, but I have like baby soft feet.
Mm-hmm.
So like I do. They're like, so when I usually I train, I ruck a lot, and that's that. I mean, you got to put miles in, right? You got to toss up your feet. I got to get those blisters. Got to toughen them up, and that's usually how I get past it. When we went out 26. I didn't do much training for that one. You know, we did a couple of like 8-mile rucks on like a Saturday morning, and that was it. You know,
I didn't do no training for that. I just did it.
Yeah,
because I knew I was going to be walking the entire time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel like I needed to train to walk, but I've been doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So I was already in shape and stuff, but I think I did. Yeah, I probably did a couple of rucks, but probably nothing more than, I don't think I did. If I did, I don't think I did anything over 6 miles. And I think I did a couple because I remember like I bought my backpack and everything like that. So yeah, I probably did a couple of small ones.
I think my feet were actually probably worse for the 26 than it was when I did the 60-mile ones. And I've done the 60-mile one 3 times. And I feel like, because I didn't do any training for like the 26, like I ain't like, I mean, assuming if I had to do like another 34 miles to make a full 60, I would have been
yeah,
because I was in bad shape at the end of 26. So
I was just kind of mentally ready to be done.
Yeah,
like it was a long day. Like I was just ready to be done, man.
We cranked it out, man. It was
we had fun, man. We was doing some work. We had a good group. We had a good team.
Yeah, we had time.
Yeah. Did we get lost? I don't think we got lost, did we?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
So it's funny talking about the consistency part of it. Like I mentioned that, like working out. Where I go now, the CrossFit coach, he talks about how, like, during the holidays or during the summer, like attendance kind of falls off because whatever's going on. I don't know. I don't know why. Because I guess
during
it's the holidays.
Yeah.
During the holidays.
Oh
like,
yeah, I can
December,
see that.
And then like right in the summertime, I guess people are going to the beach and they stop showing up. He said how like it's funny how like certain times people fall off, and so whatever. But I'm like, it's funny because like even explaining it almost makes no sense. I'm like, yeah, I guess because of the holidays. Like the idea of like it's a certain time of year, so I'm not going to work out. Like that doesn't occur to me. It doesn't make sense. Like I'm there no matter what. Like even like I think I told you I went on vacation, went to Florida for a week after Christmas, and I brought my gear with me, and I found a gym in Florida to work out.
Yeah,
I was there at 5 in the morning every day. I got up at 4. My wife was like, why the hell you get up? You're on vacation. What are you doing?
Why not?
Like, why not? I'm up.
Why not? Yeah. We do we still brush our teeth and, and eat and take poops and everything else on showers. So I'm just like working out is part of what comes along with that, Like I don't usually take anything. I think I have taken bands before. I've taken my ab wheel before and I've taken push-up bars before. So if I take anything, it'll usually be one or a combination of those 3 things. Haven't taken the kettlebell yet, but that may get added to the packing list one day. You know what I mean? And I usually 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go for a run or 2. I'm going to get up a couple of days, probably every day, and go for a run. Just because I like. Part of the reason is because I like looking at my my apps and stuff, and it shows where the different places that I was running at. You know what I mean? So I kind of
cool.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it for those reasons and stuff like that. So
but hey, even if you don't have a gym, you do burpees. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
you still get it in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing I like about it. So I know you do a lot of body weight exercises and stuff too. The burpee, and we already talked about pull-ups and push-ups now with burpees and stuff like that. So I know me right now, I'm doing 100 a day right now for the most part. When I do it, I haven't been as consistent as I want to be. I had vacation, but no excuse at the end of the day. But I am back on it. But you were one of the people who kind of got me into burpees. I know we did them at CrossFit and stuff, and I remember like on people's birthdays, however old you were, you do the burpees, and I remember like doing like 20 something and being like sucking. You know what I mean? Like, man, like I'm tired already. And it's just like, man, these dudes over here cranking them out, and I saw women cranking them out, and I was just like, you know, my ego couldn't handle that well. So I started getting better at burpees and stuff like that, you know, and doing 100, and you know, we eventually got to 1,000. But how did you? I know one of the guys who you follow on burpees, you know, Aaron Wolf, and I follow him too. So is that how you got into burpees, or how did you start the whole burpee thing? Because the reason why I want to get into it is just because, man, and I definitely want you to spend a little bit of time on this too, is how great burpees are. Like how good of an exercise that is. You know what I mean? So what do you think about like all of that? How you got into burpees, yada, yada, yada.
So I've always been like more of a body weight kind of guy. Like after, so I with my, you know, background, like, you know, I did lift weights in high school, and then I got into like kickboxing and GoRuck. But in between that, like I was always more of a body weight kind of guy. And actually I found when I was kickboxing, I found this trainer, Ross Namate, I think that's how you say his name. He lives in Connecticut, boxing trainer, and he had like basically like he had a few books out, like PDFs at the time, and he was almost like a CrossFit style kind of workout. It was my first exposure that like interval kind of training. You know, you do like a lot of dumbbell work, but a lot of burpees, and that's how I got into it. That's how I first fell in love with burpees, because you said it's a full body, like it's simple,
full body,
but it's effective as hell, and that's when I first got into it. And so I've always loved burpees. Even before CrossFit, I would do like, you know, a couple hundred burpees in my garage by myself. Like I do a test, like I'm, you know, and I'll admit back then, originally I was doing like the sloppy man burpee, you know, I'd fall to the floor. I wasn't doing strict burpees, but I mean, a burpee's a burpee, I guess, you know. I wasn't doing them strict back in the day when I first started, but I mean, it was still, you know, my first exposure to burpees. But yeah, man, that's like now I love them, because I think another thing is like me, I'm getting older, right? I'm 43. I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fastest.
Young man.
Yeah. All right. I never was, never will be, right? And like, but burpees, and even that, like everybody hates them, and they are like, you know, they're boring as fuck. You just do burpees for like hours, right? But that, again, go back to that mental thing. Like it's a crazy full body workout, and how many people can do 100, 200 burpees, 1,000 burpees? Like just crank them out, and it's all mental. You sit there and it's repetitive as hell, but it's a crazy full body workout. So I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I know you do 2 pumps and 3 pumps and 4 pumps and iron burpees and all these different types. And maybe I'm too slow, but the simpler the better. You know what I mean? I know, like, cause sometimes I do them with Sandy. He like, all right, let's do 5 pumps, and he do, you know, the iron wolves. You know, different variations of the same exercise.
Navy SEALs.
Navy SEAls, yeah. I don't really like those, cause like I have to think too much. Yeah, I have to think too much, and then I lose track of my counts and stuff like this. So when we do those, I usually leave the counting and stuff like that up to Sandon. He's a whole lot better at. He's one of them. He's the brain guy. Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Last thing I wanted to talk about real quick before I forget is like your eating, your diet, you know, how you choose to go about, because I remember like when I met you and then after we, you know, got to know each other a little bit better, you talked about some of the weight that you had dropped. And I was like, what? I'm like, this dude got a whole 6-pack over here. There's no way in the world he, you know, I mean, have lost this weight. And then you would send me some pictures or something. And then I was like, wow. So I was, you know, even more jealous. And different things like that. And then you was even, and it made me even want to push harder at CrossFit, because I'm like, man, this dude done lost all this weight. He over here with a 6-pack and stuff. And I'm like, I'm short, and I was in the military. I'm like, man, I should be. So like because even though you didn't know it, like you was always somebody who pushed me, just based off your presence, just based off of how you performed in CrossFit, you know? So let's talk about your diet or eating habits and stuff, because that's a huge one for folks.
Yeah. I mean, so back in I was up to like my heaviest ever was 232. I mean, depending on your.
Well, you're
I mean,
6'2" though.
yeah, I was going to say, depending. I mean,
Yeah.
that can be relative, right? Like, depending on your muscle. Man, I can be 232 of solid muscle. I was 232 of fat. Man,
Yeah.
I was a round dude. Like you see my face, I had a big fat head. Like,
Hey, some people say round is a shape, so
that's right. Yeah, I
yeah.
was shaped like I was shaped like a pear. That
Okay.
counts.
All right.
But yeah, anyway, I was 232. I got down to like, I mean, this is like healthy dieting. I
Yeah.
got down to like 197. Like right now, I mean, and this is over the years. I kind of come and go. Like right now, I think I'm like 210. But my body type, I feel like it's totally different now. Like I feel like I'm
Yeah.
lean. I have more muscle. Like I say, when I was 230, just like I was like just fat. I feel
Yeah.
like, totally different. But I mean, I think. But also at the time where I was, when I got the heavy, I was eating like fast food. Like, I was younger. I was in my 20s. I was eating fast food, eating junk, really. So you put it in, that's you get out. That's it don't matter. And even at the time, I've never not exercised in my life. I think, so I was still exercising. I was still lifting weights, running, but I was still fat because I was eating like shit.
Yeah.
It comes down to. Now, I mean, I'm slacking now, but for a while I was like, in my CrossFit days when I had my 6-pack, right? I was eating drinking close to a gallon of water a day. I mean, I think just even drinking water, I mean, it's healthy for your body, but even that alone will help you kind of just like shed some fat. I feel like it helps you slim out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I was trying to eat healthy, rice, chicken. I would eat cottage cheese every night. I would go through like tubs of that in a week. Like the two of those every couple of days.
Yeah.
At night, put a little like raspberry jelly in there. It's like suck that down at night. It's pretty good actually.
Yeah, I like it with like peaches and stuff.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's just it was low fat, like good protein, and cottage cheese. So I eat a lot of that. Just I mean, I feel like a lot of it's like common sense. Like if you eating like like with like stuff you learn when you're a kid, like the whole food triangle thing. Like get a balanced diet. If you're eating crap, I feel like that's what you need to get. Like, I mean, I don't get like the fad diets. I don't know what you think about that. Like, if you have an opinion about it, that's like not the
keto.
The keto diet. I don't get that. Like, why you to remove a whole like food group or like only eat just that? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Why can't he eat like fruits or fats or? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
I think that. So I am 100%, 95% anti-diet. I feel like diet is only good when like doctors or someone prescribes it for like as an emergency or for a certain type of benefit. Like if you're about to have surgery or something, you should lose the weight or, different reasons like that. But I just feel like I like, you kind of mentioned common sense. So, and then you also mentioned education and what we learned as kids. I do understand that there's a lot of mindset. I understand all of those things. I also understand common sense. I also understand, accountability, and I think a lot of these things play a role in, how people choose to eat and or diet. So, I think, do they work? Absolutely. Are they effective long-term? In most cases, absolutely not. What has been effective over long-term is mindset change, healthy diet, you know what I mean? 80-20 rule, 85-15 rule, however you want to put it. And I even look at even how we live and how we eat right now, the amount of food that we eat on our plates, how big a serving is. Most times you get chicken breast from a store or from like a restaurant, you probably got at least 2 to 3 servings, depending on where you go. Just the chicken breast. So, not a 4 or 6 ounce piece of chicken, but you got a huge big piece of chicken and steak and everything else like that. So we're eating more, but we're working out and moving a lot less. So my big thing is pretty much 80-20, and move every day. When we were, back in the day, before we had cars and stuff, we moved every day. Every single day. We got up, we moved, we foraged, we hunted, we did all these different things. And we didn't eat 3 meals a day, snacks in between, We didn't do that. We ate pretty minimum, and we stayed in shape, all the time. You know what I mean? We ate when we needed to, and, hunted when we needed to, and different things like that. So I think if a lot of people took kind of sort of that mindset or that approach to eating or their diet, then I think, a lot of people would be a lot more healthier than they are, And I'm not saying that is always easy. It is a challenge. I mean, you didn't grow up like that, and everybody around you is overweight. And, so you don't necessarily have the mindset or the know-how to necessarily lose. But I will say that it's kind of hard. Like, at the same time, I feel like most people know what it takes to lose weight. I kind of found, in the simplest terms, eat less food, move your body more, eat less calories, move your body more. I feel like the basics of losing weight, most people know that, especially as an adult. I don't really feel like there's a whole bunch of adults that don't really know. Now, the process, that's a whole different story. The process of how to get there and to losing the weight. I think that's where the disconnect comes in right there.
If they choose to actually do it.
If they choose. You got to want to do it too. That's a huge part of that. You know what I mean? And if you're comfortable with where you are, then you don't need to lose anything. If you're overweight and you feel like you're comfortable with your weight.
Well, that's what I don't get is that when people they're not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're not comfortable where you are. You're not happy where you are.
Yeah.
But you continue the same process. Like, change it.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that simple, right?
Get up in the morning, go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's the one thing I said. Like I was saying when we started. That's why I get up in the morning, work out in the morning, because no matter what happens in the day, I got up and I got my exercise in.
Yep.
If the day if the day is great or goes to shit from there, I got something in. I accomplished something.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're not happy where you are, get up and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Whatever. Try and drink some more water that day. Do something different. Make a change.
Yeah. That's all we got to do, man. And I know it's harder on different people. I've heard people say that, I would be okay if I didn't live with this person or if people didn't bring these things into the house. And that's where the mindset and self-control and accountability comes in, because, the thing about it is those things are not going to go away. They're always going to make Doritos. They're always going to make Oreos. Like, they're always going to make fast food, So if you know that, then you just have to figure out a way to navigate around those things, your vices. And it ain't always easy. You know what I mean? I got vices too, just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, are you a chicken, rice, and broccoli guy, 3 meals a day? That ain't you?
What's that? Chicken? Yeah. I eat whatever my wife feeds me. That's what I eat. I usually eat eggs for breakfast. I feel like that's I don't know if it's healthy. It feels healthy, but I eat eggs for breakfast. Maybe a piece of toast.
Yeah, you may get some pushback from some vegans if you eating eggs, but that may be it. But it is what it is.
My wife's she's vegetarian, but she switches between vegetarian and vegan. She goes back and forth.
Yeah,
but right.
I like meat.
I like
meat. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, to each his own. I'm not saying. I mean, I think there's a lot of pros and cons of a whole bunch of things, and I think at the end of the day, it's about moderation and about what works for you. And that even comes to working out. You talked about, your journey as far as CrossFit, lifting weights. I know you're doing a lot more running and stuff like that now. The rucking, bodyweight, everything. You know what I mean? But before we wrap up, one thing I want to do is I want to do a little bit of word association with you. All right. So I'm going to give you a word, and what I want you to do is just respond back with a one word response, whatever word comes to your mind or whatever like this. Nice. All right. I got 10 words right here. All right.
Do I get a practice round?
Nope. We're going straight to it.
Okay, good.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. The first word is Crohn's. One word response.
The first thing that came to mind was painful. That's the first thing
painful.
that came to mind. You want me?
Yeah.
I'll give you the first thing that comes to my head.
No, however you want to respond, as long as it's one word. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Functional.
Fitness.
Fitness. Okay. Yeah. I pull words from our conversation is what
Nice.
I
I
did.
like it. I like it. I like it.
All right.
That's good.
Burpees.
Awesome.
I like that one. That's a good one.
I gets me excited when you said burpees.
Yeah. It would have been a good one too. It would have been a great word too.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Necessary.
Ooh. Snatch. The movement.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Complex.
Martial arts.
Structured.
CrossFit. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Good back to back.
Yeah. I'm thinking motivating.
Motivating. Okay.
Yeah.
We got three more.
Okay. I like this. This is cool.
Iron.
What's that?
Iron. IRON.
Iron. Ooh. I feel like I want to say life changing. That's it comes to mind.
Yeah, I like that. Because it was like one of the first words I wrote down came from when you started, back in high school. That's where that word came from.
Yeah, that's why I think about it. Like that was like it was a life changing. Like hitting those weights was like, and the reason I brought up the Henry Rollins thing because I associate with the his story of it. The iron story.
Yeah, like it. Last two. Goggins.
So I'm thinking I had a thought, but I changed it. I'm gonna say human.
Ooh, yeah. Dang. And the last but not least, ruck.
I feel like I'd say challenging.
Okay, challenging. I like it. All right. So
I like those. That was good.
You like that? Yeah, man. It made you think a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
So before we wrap up, man, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to plug anything, your YouTube channel, your Instagram account, anything you may be working on, anything you want to say, to help anybody as far as, being consistent about reaching their goals or anything like that, man. Feel free to share. Take a few minutes to share, or take as long as you need to.
Yeah. So I would say, I don't necessarily have any plugs, but I'll say my kind of closing statement. The importance of fitness and consistency. Kind of like the Goggins thing. I reference him because everyone can go out and read him as same way I can. Is that for me? I feel like fitness changed my life, right? Like going back to like when I was talking about, like when I said when I was a kid, and it's being those dark places. I think probably all go through stuff in our lives, like your parents, whatever happens, people die and deaths, and just you have a shitty childhood. That's part of life. Well, maybe it's not part of life. I don't know. It's part of my life, right? but even that, like, you know, what's bad for me is like nothing but someone else, and everyone has it worse or better. But it's really a matter of what's with the stuff you're dealing with. But the fitness, it allows you to take control of something in your life. That's what I feel like. That's why I love it. You know, I said, like, you know, get up at 5 a.m. It allows you to control something in your life, something you can own, something you could be proud of, something you feel accomplished. I think that's the biggest thing. That's why, you know, I try and preach to people, to myself. That's why, you know, I think it's so important that it's just, you know, it's a life-changing, you know, it's life-changing thing. So yeah. And you say it has those endorphins that it releases that adrenaline that other things can't.
Absolutely. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. And until next time, stay consistent and stay fit. 365 days a year. We are out.